Welcome back to Opinion Journal. I'm Mary Kissel. The sequester debate shone a very harsh spotlight on wasteful federal government spending. But my next guest says we should really do the same thing and have a hard look at the finances on college campuses. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley is on the line from Washington. Senator, you've got an extensive list of wasteful spending on college campuses that we're going to post on WSJ.com, but I want to start first with administrator bonuses like Jack Lew's $1.4 million housing loan. How common is this?
Well, I really don't know how common it is because we don't get a briefing on all of what the different colleges do. But I know that if you go through a lot of the things that the Chronicle on Higher Education publishes, it gives you an idea that there's just a lot of waste of either taxpayers' money or, in the case of a private institution, the waste of money that's contributed to a university or the waste of tuition money. Any way you look at it, it's a waste of money when people get paid what they are, or in the case of Jack Lew, it was a case of where he was getting $440,000 gift on a mortgage assistance as part of a $1 4/10 million housing loan. And then I think he got a separation from there. He was also there when the New York University was getting 1/4 of 1% for all the loans that were directed to Citicorp, as another example. And then he went to Citicorp afterwards. So you kind of wonder what the relationships are. And it brings to question, why are students paying such high tuition and so many administrators hired? Shouldn't we be looking at cutting down on what administrators get paid, the number of administrators you have, and think more about the student? Because you got to remember, the purpose of a university is to educate people.
Well, and also, while Jack Lew was at New York University, the fees went up, to your point, around 40%. Another guy that warranted some scrutiny, Bob Carey, $3 million at the new school, plus a $1.2 million retention bonus. I want to just zero in here, Senator, on the administrative bloat. Instruction spending up, administrative spending up. Are students seeing better results as a result of all of this money?
No, we're fortunate that worldwide the United States universities still have a pretty good reputation compared to other countries. But the thing is that we're probably still wasting a lot of money that causes tuition to go very high, or in the case of hiring so many administrators, you're spending more money on administration that you do on instruction. So instead of having full-time professors teach, you're having graduate assistants teach, and the quality of teaching isn't as good as if you had the best of the teachers actually doing teaching.
Senator, what about donations that alumni are giving to colleges? Are they being spent on R&D, or is it being spent on, I don't know, climbing walls?
Well, let me give you an example in my state that I think a good investment. There's a philanthropist in Des Moines, Iowa, a warehouse guy by the name of Jacobson. He gave $15 million to my alma mater, the University of Northern Iowa, to the College of Education, because we educate most of the teachers for Iowa, and he wanted to improve the teaching and preparation for teachers. But then you have people, I don't know whether I can give you a name and number, but you have people that give money to a university that maybe says, I want this money spent on this type of research or this type of teaching, that maybe doesn't have something basic to a university, lending much to the advancement of knowledge. Sometimes you've got artistic gifts given that amount to, I suppose, tens of millions of dollars that could be the favorite of some philanthropist, you know, as opposed to what's the purpose of a university? The purpose of the university is to educate. So anybody accepting these loans or anybody really giving the money ought to think in terms of what are we doing to advancing the purpose of a university, which is obviously to teach.
Well, Senator, that must also extend to these endowments, some of them quite large. Places come to mind, Harvard and Yale. Their spending seems to be rising even though the returns are down. How is that allowed?
Well, you know, in the case of Ivy League schools, I can say I probably accomplished more with as little effort as I've ever expended on having just one hearing on how Harvard was using their endowment of then $38 billion. It went down, I think, to $28 billion, and I think it's back up now to the low $30 billions. But is the purpose of a university to be a storehouse for money? At that particular time, they were spending less than 1% of their endowment on helping students. When we raised the question, well, what's the difference between an endowment for a university and what a foundation under law has to pay out? At least 5%. Well, we got their attention, and at least for a while, I don't know whether the situation is the same now, we got their contribution to families in need up considerably, I think almost to 4 or 5% as an example of that happening. But I think that a lot of people think in terms of a university having money for reasons other than the purpose of helping kids. And so we want them to focus their endowments on helping kids, and people that give to endowments ought to think in terms of that as well.
Okay, well, a lot of college ripoffs detailed there. You can read them all on WSJ.com. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley, thank you so much for being with us.